I will say, though, I mean, Inco, they're getting a ton of time off the back of P1. Historically speaking, in, like, Call of Duty esports, P1s on hardpoints are really difficult to get more than, like, 25 seconds on. Outside of a very few kind of exceptional circumstances. So Inco Gaming getting 31 seconds there, that is a great start for them. But for me, the question is kind of how do they follow this one up, right? Especially if you move over towards the next hill, you can get some more gunfights in your favor, you can get some early control over P2. You might well have a real dent into Mayhem early on in this game.
Yeah, you had them funneled out for a minute. They were trying to take that left side route of the minimap. Instead, they just decided to push from P1 out through the little shed there towards P2. That proved to be the one that at least worked out for them for the moment's time. So Mayhem are able to break over towards P2. A nice little double there from Leo, though, is going to at least allow them to start pushing their way back forward. It's going to be basically a 4v3 here on the fight. And well, the kill feed, all yellow. Mayhem going to hold in.
Early streak utilization coming out from Blur to ensure the Team Mayhem do actually make their mark on this hill. Cartel's now up top, just trying to garner some kills, provide some coverage for the team, and yep, does exactly that. We know how crucial Cartels has been for Mayhem previously, not just in the EU finals, but here at this tournament as well. Despite the 0-2 start from Mayhem, Cartels has still been doing pieces. And now, important here, big gunfight against the backline. They recognize that someone's probably located here. That is the player, and well, Cartels and Jesus Saves both going to combine to take that guy down.
Spawn's going to be on the close side here for Mayhem. And now Inco's going to have a tall task of having to force their way across the map. Annihilator popped here, going to get shut down, though. Cartel's the next one up, has the claw to invest. Leo on the opposite side of the map, going to try and force his way forward, but realistically, Mayhem have won the gunfights that they needed to. They've at least held that first wave of kills and those first wave of players from the pushing Inco Gaming roster off the mark for the moment. But there's still going to be a few players left here. A lot of Purifier streaks and a lot of specialization usage here from both of these two teams, but Team Mayhem have made it stick.
Yeah, there is still a bit in the back pocket. We will say this much for Team Mayhem. As I say, actually, Jesus Saves only temporarily, and I mean temporarily, brings out the Sparrow before being immediately shut down. So, start to ask the question here about whether or not you use any more. Well, there's a little bit more utility utilization coming out from Cartels this time. Going to bring the Predator Missile down to take Raph down. That's a good effort here from Inco Gaming to try and hold on towards this time. Still a big 20 left to fight for. Jesus Saves. He's going to go down. Will Raph go down as well? Yep, Luke's into the ground to make sure he wins that gunfight. It's a big one too because it enables Inco to go level with Mayhem off the back of this hill. And Mayhem, I mean, they'd already chalked this hill about 20 seconds ago. They were like, yep, we're out. We're just going to go over towards the new rotate. We've got some specialists, but look at the 4 on side for Inco. And Luke's ready with the Annihilator.
We got everybody pushing from the south side, too. They could fly out through the middle of the map here to create an artificial pinch, but realistically, all you're trying to do here is make sure that you can take these first gunfights, win them. That Annihilator is going to be the first and foremost savior for him. He's able to find another 2 with it. That's 3 in a row now and a triple kill for Luca. He flies into the hardpoint, is able to line a few up, peppers them both, but isn't able to walk away with the shots. Kings on the opposite end will be able to find his own with the Annihilator, but this game has gotten a lot closer. Just 7 points away from a tie. Inco have broken in.
Good effort there from Inco, and we talked about it, right? You've got 4 specialists on side. You might as well use them right now to the 2 of Mayhem. And Mayhem, I mean, did lose out on that initial joust, but the fight will still be ongoing, of course. Both spawns towards the backline from Mayhem are still intact. We'll see how that will come to affect Inco here as they try to hold on towards this hill. They can't get back on through, no matter how much they will try. Coverage being watched from the backline. That's going to be Blur to find yet another kill versus Leazera as we hit 15 seconds left in this hill. Inco start to wonder how much is it really worth pushing. I think they've decided the answer, not at all. So back towards P1 we go. And really, to be honest with you, Alex, I feel like just towards the end of that hill, it's the first time that either of these two teams has actually walked away from the other one. We've finally got like a, what, some kind of notable 25-point advantage for one of these sides.
Yeah, 100%. But Inco, the last time through on P1, was able to get about 35 seconds for themselves. So looking to do the same here once again, maybe tie this game up and potentially even take a lead. They've done a great job of being able to lock down each and every spawn position that Mayhem has tried to push through them. So all these angles that have been locked down now are going to allow themselves to accrue some more time, force Team Mayhem to be discombobulated back to the respawn side. And as Dermot is able to find 2 and a few more tack on for Inco, they're just about tied up once again. Blur finally cuts things off and Kings finds one with a nade, but it was all blue in the kill feed for a solid 30.
And Mayhem a chance here to garner a lead, or a larger lead over Inco. Inco, they just refusing to let it happen. Nice long-range shots coming out from Lukashin. Linz also knows exactly where to look, and Lukashin is actually going to be the one to pick up that kill, but they let me know that was team shots that managed to take that player down. Team Mayhem still think this last 10 seconds is worth fighting for. You've got to be careful about the overinvestment. You don't want to lose control of the rotation towards Nu. Fortunately enough for Team Mayhem, they do get relatively close spawns for it. I'm looking over towards Blur, see what he can do to try and damage the rotation coming out here from Inco. Jesus Saves. has to have his eye out for the spawn from Inco. Players all around, though, from Inco up top. Dermac going to be the player from up top, as I think there are still a couple more there. It's very much a messy fight down low. Mayhem at the moment going to be coming out on top. I think it's time for a streak. At least that is what one of the players on Inco are going to think, and it is effective.
And nobody through the middle of the map, so they're only going to really have to fight right now from one angle for this initial hit. The second one inside of the middle of the map should get taken down by a flank here from player 2. That's going to be Inco, or excuse me, Dad, on the Inco side, who's able to cut that one down. Leo pops a double, now looks back to the spawn side. Ralph won't try to challenge out just yet, so still a very, very, very delicate hill here with 25 seconds left on it. Sitting tight right now is Inco inside of it, but the challenge around the corner from Blur is there. Limbs tries to snap on the one, can't find the second. Cartels will fall to the hands of Leo, and that's going to allow Inco at least to be able to rotate onto the opposite side of the map while Mayhem grabs scrap.
I felt so bad for Raph there, looking over towards the rotation. It's like, yeah, okay, I've got a really important play to make here. If I can get maybe 1 or 2 kills, it would be super effective to give Mayhem an in for this next rotation, but didn't really have the weapon for it. Had the shotgun out, was very much prepared for the close quarter engagements to happen inside the hill. That's not the case at all when his role changes. So, Inco Gaming, now a chance to level things once again with Mayhem. Sparrow out for Dermek. What can you do around the front? The pre-fire going down. Just going to nade out towards the ski lift. Jesus saves. Not going to be able to escape the clutches of Dermek or Limbs. Now the Purify coming out from Dad as well. It's actually not going to be effective at all. Raph's going to take them down, in fact, with the shotgun. And yet still, Mayhem failing to fight this one from the front. It is so difficult, and almost every single lane is being watched. One player around the flank now. Kings could do something, but instead they're going to try and brute force their way through the front. Just Limbs left inside. He's going to get shut down now as well. And finally, it takes about 30 seconds or so, but Mayhem, they break through.
It was the Purifier, the Annihilator, and the Sparrow all used from Inco there. This time, though, on the break from Mayhem, only the Sparrow being used. So you still have not only 2 specialists left if you are the side of Team Mayhem, but now you have a chance to break to the opposite side of the map while securing yourselves at least another 15 seconds of pure scrap time. So this should give you a sizable lead. This is going to give you a little time to work with as you break over towards the next point. Now they're getting themselves saved up. First one slide challenge is out, but Dad's there in the corner to help out the rest of the team. It's all Inco Gaming in the kill feed.
Yeah, that's a disgusting header that Lucasson has there. Really difficult to take a player down from. Now, if you're Team Mayhem, you've got to kind of deconstruct this entire defensive effort. You know that the player's going to be in the flank. That's going to be Aaliyah Zera. Every single angle is being watched, and you can see kind of the effort for which Mayhem are trying to get some kind of activity going around the flank. They know how important flipping the spawns out for this hill can be, and it's just so difficult to do so. Every single lane is being watched, and it's being watched effectively as well. Lynn's now going to have to pick up where Dermek left off, watching the snow area of the map. But all of it, while this is happening, Inco, they are just picking up every single second of time. But as I say it, finally, Kings now comes through for the double. Team Mayhem, again, after 30 seconds. How many times are we going to see this in this game? They finally break through for the back 30.
Spawn's still going to be close here from Inco. Last time they didn't try to challenge the back 15. This time I feel like they're going to do just that. The middle of the map has been their safe haven, so I don't feel too bad at saying that, you know, that break towards middle map for potentially another 35 should be relatively easy for themselves. But now that they've broken in and given themselves 10, this is going to be a much closer game as we get back over towards P1. You've already seen player 3 inside. Unfortunately, Luca's going to fall there. It's still going to be teammates from Team Mayhem being able to find those kills in the middle, but the Purifier is now shut down, and you can see this pinch starting to collapse on P1.
Here we go, P1 again. Inco got a big 30 off the back of the start of the game on this very hill. See whether or not they can do it once again here, as players now starting to encroach from all sides. Just one on the other side now. It's going to be player number 4. He will get shut down. That's Cartels. King's now starting to heat up here over by the stairwell. He's got a disgusting head glitch to work with, and it's doing a lot of damage here to the players coming off the spawns. Now those spawns will in fact flip, so Kings should adjust his position accordingly. The rest of the team is actually watching that one particular lane where a couple of players are coming from, but Kings is doing so much damage now on 4 in a row. Looking for number 5. Will not actually get it, but the team shot's good enough to take that player down. There it is. Finally finds that 5th kill in a row, and now a hunter killer will be utilized, and it's actually going to get brought out straight in towards this hill. He's now going to need to do a little bit more, and as he and his teammates fall around him, Inco break back in for the final 10 seconds.
And they're just surviving on scrap time right now. These last few hills, Inco Gaming have just been able to continuously grab that last 10. But realistically, I feel bad for Inco Gaming fans because I was the one who cast a curse that. I said it'd probably be easy to get back in the middle map. It proved not to be. There's still 2 players alive, and now the respawns come in. You're actually going to see player 4 on the opposite end, and that's Cartels being able to get in behind one. Kings is going to go ahead and find 2, though, so that should allow them to get some control over by P2. 210, 194. It's a 15-point game as we get down to the final minutes here.
Every second matters at this point in the game for Inco Gaming. Them being 12 points behind, they know that more than anybody. Got to do as much as you can to keep Mayhem away from this hill, but of course that rotation towards P2 will be at the back of the minds of Mayhem, who spawn here, and that's a big kill against Lucasin, who had the Annihilator out. Could have done a lot of damage there to Mayhem on that prospective rotation, and does get shut down. Now for Inco, though, it's all about the defense of this hard point. In come Team Mayhem. Jesus Saves gets shut down. Raph the next one. Kings falls as well. Inco are doing a stellar job at taking every single player out. Mayhem, they're not going to lose the game here. They've got control of the next rotation. That needs to be where their focus is.
I mean, realistically, all you're trying to do here is just keep them off of that last time. The more you can stall out Inco Gaming from getting closer to that 250-point mark, the better off you are. But you've got your entire team set up for this next hit. Here it comes through the middle of the map. Dermek's going to be close. They've got two different specialists to work with, a Sparrow and a Claw.
Cartel's Claw already starting to do bits inside. That picks up the first push. Around the flank, though, Lukashin could blow this play wide open alongside that. Lukashin finds the double. Now just one player left inside as Inco successfully flipped the spawns. 11 seconds away from victory now. They're going to find their way through. Mayhem, they recognize the flip is good, but Dermek and Lukashin going to find a couple of kills now. Just a few seconds away from victory. Can either number 2 or 3 Blur or Jesus Saves do anything about this? No, they cannot. Neither of them can get in time. Inco Gaming managed to flip the spawns at the very last second, revitalize themselves to take the map away from Mayhem.
It's a specialist game, that's all I gotta say. The rotation was big, and realistically, Mayhem, they had it within their grasp. They had that back end hit. They were trying to survive off of scraps once again, but that was the biggest difference maker. It was just the fact that things were falling apart slowly, gradually. They were trying to play from behind pretty much every single hill that they were trying to hit through, and unfortunately, just at the end there, again, it was the Claw and it was the Sparrow that shut down the final bits. They weren't able to break through, and out of the spawns flipped, it was pretty much a GG.
Yeah. Just such a close game, back and forth. And again, you talk about it right. I mean, there is such a small margin for error in these kind of games, right? Where the smallest things make the difference. When the right specialist usage can make all the difference in these final moments in the game. The right kind of decisions in terms of making sure you're trying to flip the spawns. Right there at the end, we saw it from Inco Gaming. I mean, just such an incredible play from them to just about edge out Mayhem in what was an incredibly close hard point. Wow. Inco Gaming take away a hard point from Mayhem. And again, we didn't get really the chance to talk about the win conditions for this best of 3 in particular, but it always feels like, you know, a team will have a strength in one game mode, maybe won't be so great in the other two. But Inco Gaming, that's never been more true. They are excellent in Search and Destroy, 9-2 from stage 4. Not so great, not so hot at Hardpoint and Control, particularly the former of those two things. You're just looking to steal a respawn somewhere in the series, and you've done exactly that. And I gotta say, and this isn't quite critique territory. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but certainly it comes back to the conversation of the veto process, right? I mean, vetoing for these kind of games, choosing the maps you want to play. Mayhem just played Inco on arguably their best hard. I don't know why you would actively choose to do that. I don't know what the kind of the game plan is there, but it certainly gave Inco a way in.
It's always hard. And I mean, we theory crafted about veto logic earlier on throughout the series, and it's one of those things where it's like, all right, you know, if you allow your team or another team to play their best hardpoint map, you feel like you can stick it to them sometimes, or maybe it could be even potentially your best feeling hardpoint map, despite what the statistics might say about your win-loss throughout something. So maybe trying something different or going out. Realistically, both teams are desperate. Your 0-2, one loss could be the potential difference maker of your entire year going up to this point. So right now, for Inco, you're feeling great. But I do kind of wonder what the decision process was there for the vetoes. We don't have it into the minds of either the coaches or the players. But in this situation now, maybe you allow them to get your best, their best hardpoint map, so you can get your best search map or your best control map if you feel like the series is going to get extended. So going into this S&D, you just got to hope for the best for Mayhem here. If you're an Inco fan, you're feeling really good. You're feeling real strong about that opening hardpoint. Things can change on a dime, as we've seen here throughout the entire day of these Swiss bracket matches. There's been upsets galore. There's been plenty of teams that have lost games where we felt like they should have won, and vice versa. So going into this S&D, Mayhem, potentially for the final time here, has an opportunity to tie this series and send it to a Game 3. If not, most likely they're getting sent home.
Yeah, and this is another one where it feels like Inco will be comfortable, but so will Mayhem. 2-0 for Mayhem in Stage 4 and Fire and Rage Search and Destroy, 3-0 for Inco. And what a very aggressive start this has been. Fast and Furious for Mayhem on their first offensive effort towards B. They've already met one player from Inco, now a 4v4.
Things slowly starting to tee off, and you still see Blur just trying to play the middle of the map, waiting for a flank to come through, but Jesus Saves is going to be there with a one-on-one gunfight, and now it's 3 players collapsing around the last surviving player here from the side of Mayhem. Over at the point, you're able to eclipse and find one. Now Blur's moved himself up, and if this flank can come through, he might be able to find these last 2 players on the rotation back.
They might walk straight into him. Oh no! COD timing! Oh no! Oh, for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with the term COD timing, we'll just put that as like the definition right there. Blur looks away just as Lukashin turns the corner. One will go down now. And now that will certainly up the urgency for Lukashin and Dermek here. I gotta be honest, I don't really know what's going on with kind of the Saints Row music that we've got right now. I'm half expecting like Johnny Gat to walk onto the scene and start like blowing heads. Really no idea. Regardless though, it's setting the mood quite well for this 2v2.
Gonna say it's good ambience. You see Cartel just playing inside American back here. He's waiting for this push to come out from either side, but realistically, if you're the side of Inco, you got to make a move. You got 15 seconds left. You have no information on where these 2 players are, and you have the sniper all the way back looking for the stretch plant, and there it is. Blur gets the one. Now Luca's going to try and snap to him, is able to find it, tries to pre-fire out towards American, but now with 5 seconds left, Cartel can safely slide to victory, and that's going to be the first round for Mayhem on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, that 2v2 their situation, I mean, they just had to kind of waste so much time off the clock even getting to the A-bomb, right? I mean, where they were when the bomb went down, I think they were like kind of by the back alley over by B. They couldn't really wrap back around through tires, and even if they did, they probably would have lost to a snipe. So, not really much that they could do there in that 2 versus 2. Time just wasn't on their side. Now in towards this offensive effort from Mayhem. It's once again fast and furious through the middle map this time. Blur's going to finish things up with the first blood in this round. Raph was still resonating through the middle as well. Ooh. And Linz almost gets confident for the second kill. I'll tell you what, he made King super weak there in the play. Not enough for the kill just yet. There is some audacious challenges coming out from both of these 2 teams early in this round. I'll tell you what, I wish I had a shred of this confidence.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. I don't know why Leos thought that was going to be a good idea to make that flank stick when he had 2 players looking directly down that lane, especially when the bomb was trying to make its way over towards A. In the middle of the map was already kind of a firefight to begin with, but I guess it's the name of the game and the name of the map. So 2v2. I'm going to get planted over for it to get. Okay, I was going to say, try to stretch this out as far as you possibly can to allow the same kind of situation. He doesn't know where he wants to plant it, dude. He's playing everywhere that he possibly can, and this is allowing the side of Inco to have time to wrap back around what otherwise would have been a long-winded play. Now gives them a little bit more time to work with.
I'm getting deja vu here, mate. Another 2v2. Another one where Lukashin and Dermek are the ones trying to retake the site. Although they've got a little bit more time this time around. King's just snaking on the heady, and yeah, that was really fast. King's just like, yeah, I'll just go. I guess I'll just have these kills. Thanks, pals.
Bit anticlimactic, I should say. I thought there was going to be at least maybe an opportunity for a secondary challenge there, but no bait and switch, just straight up and down, and then up again.
We got a word for that.
I don't want to know what it is. To be honest.
Anyway, Mayhem going to be a lot slower on this round, which is a very big change of pace. I will say that much. And a weird curveball to throw after you won the last 2 rounds off the back of that aggression.
Well, that sniper gameplay from Blur up in the top, just trying to find that first one, has an opportunity for something. That jump chow was audacious as hell. Won't be able to make it stick, though. Stays alive for the meantime. Doesn't allow Blur to get an easy one. He'll drop down from his power position up top. Still got one inside a U-Haul and a couple other players just trying to play around, but the trailer locked down. This bomb really has no point of where it wants to go just yet.
Oh, there it is. 3rd, 4th,
Sexy.
5th time's the charm. No idea how many times he tried for that snipe, but in the end, Blur does get it. He gets his mark. Now Mayhem have options. Blur, though, not going to get a second. Dermek's going to get the wallbang, I think, for that kill. And now, all of that play around the first snipe feels somewhat more pointless because they don't have any map control. Mayhem now going to try to make their way up this A street. There's 2 players awaiting them. Malin sitting in the corner.
Got the sun check on it, though. Cartels is going to be able to read it. AO gets it through the corner as well. So as Raph now is able to push his way up onto the bomb site, this should get planted. They've got 2 players in the safe harbor of their spawn side as well. The defense needs to be able to retake here. Leo over the top is going to get some shots off, but nobody there just yet. The R9 needs to go big here. He's got the shotgun, and he wants to push forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is so cheeky from Raph. Do you ever expect the shotgun inquisition? That's the question. Might well have numbers, but you certainly don't have the close quarter better weaponry for the situation. But these players have actually just been pushed into this caravan. Trade's now looking pretty good. Jesus saves. All you got to do is keep your head down for the challenge. Dad will actually slide out and win the 1v1. And now, here it is. 1v1 to close things out. You know where Kings is going to be located, but you're forced to try and challenge him. Do you have time for the defuse? No. He runs towards the site, but Dad knows it's a futile effort, and Team Mayhem, by the skin of their teeth this time, they actually have to work for it. Gonna go throw up.
You know, it might be nitpicky, and it probably is, but having the AR out there versus the SMG up close, if you had the sniper out there, he might have been able to win that round and take that gunfight immediately. Instead, he peppers him up and then had to rechal it once again, but just not enough time to work with there. So another fresh 2 minutes on the clock here. You can see that bomb trying to make its way down that B lane on the offensive hit from Team Mayhem. Defense has surrounded the entirety of the A site. Now Luca finding that first blood with a sniper is going to give the side of the defense a 5v4 to work with. Leo needs to be careful, though. The double challenge coming around the right-hand side. Shot's going to be there. Oh, my God, a bit shaky there. Tries to snap back over towards the left, and nobody's there for a trade.
Ah, there we go. Second is good from Leozera.
No way.
Surely not number 3. Yeah, plays his life so perfectly there. And the reaction from Kings is to make an attempt to get his way over towards the site. It is a futile effort, I'll tell you that much, because Inco have already won the round by that point. Or rather, I should say, Leozera won the round.
You know, Brody, I'm kind of sitting here thinking, right? The entire day, we've been talking about how strong defense is on firing range.
Yep.
Right now, we've got a Mayhem roster who was able to win the first 3 rounds on their offensive attacks, which should, in theory, from what we've seen today, bode well for their defensive rounds. Inco needs to win a few, but they've already had 2 members drop off the map, so it's a 5v3 back over on this A site. You're going to get a bit aggressive here if you are these last 2 players here. Leo should be the first one to take a challenge, but we'll just dip back on the way across. Got the bomb working its way up onto the site now. Should be able to get this down here without relative any contestation. But as Blur is able to find Dermek, should just open up the site completely. He finds another one as well. I thought for a moment he might have been able to snap onto Leo, but he's the last alive in a 1v4. Ooh. He's already found 2, though.
Oh, Leozera. I've heard a lot of good things about Leozera. One of the best players in the world. I thought for a second there, if anyone was going to pull off a 1 versus X situation, it would be him. But no, Mayhem, once again, so potent on the references. And I do want to talk about that very briefly here, because you talk about kind of whether or not this map is actually defensively sided. In some situations, it's not, because you can just rush straight towards the A site, and as soon as you do that, despite the third bomb, you will get control. It's a round for you. Mayhem have done that most offensive round victories so far, and that's why they're so far in the lead at the moment. But their last offensive effort is a very different look, certainly for both sides. Inco getting aggressive through the middle of the map here, and this is going to make Mayhem feel a little bit claustrophobic. Kings is trying so many shots through the wall to try and deal with it, and it's a ghoul, mate. Nobody's there.
They've looked so close, though, as we can see the X-ray. They're just so far across the map, but it is going to be Jesus Saves and Blur who were able to pair for 2. So all of a sudden, what was a 1-player disadvantage for Team Mayhem now flips back in their favor. You can see player 5, that's going to be Leo, trying to fly himself up that B lane once again. Needs to be careful as Kings has a gunfight in the middle of the map. They need to be able to take down Leo so they can deal with the pressure on the back end side where the flank is now ensuing. But you already see one player hopping up. Cartels is there. He needs to hop in through the window. Somebody's got to take him out, but Leo's going to stay alive, and all of a sudden, it's Kings just trying to fly his way away. 2 versus 2. B site is clear, and the flank is now ensuing.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling that their Call of Duty senses are tingling. They know what's going to happen, what the play call is from Inco. Jesus Saves. Was going to try and throw things out. Thinks better of it. Thinks maybe just get the bomb down. Give myself another man on the map. Maybe go for the A-bomb site. Play call is good, though, from Linz. Jesus Saves just spotted him out.
Trying to use that glitch.
Oh, no. Steady, yeah, he's trying. He certainly is trying, but he's going to get way up.
Gonna get this bomb down though. Never mind, baited twice, dude. Like, what are we doing?
We're being baited.
And now
he's
it's
not
going
baiting
back.
them,
He's like, okay, well, I
us.
guess I don't have enough time. I'll just get back over towards B, and he's gonna get at least a safe harbor plant here, so they shouldn't be able to push down the lane in time for him to get this. They'll back off for the moment, but now the challenge a 1v2.
He pulls this off. If he pulls this off, there is no way. There's no way he's bamboozled them. There's no way. There's no way. Jesus Saves now, reveals his position. Made one weak. He's got the second one as well. They almost line up. Lin's just playing the heady. Hasn't hit the regen just yet. Now he has. Back into full HP. Both of these players. Lin's with a slide chow and extra bullets in the body. A little bit of confidence to end their defensive run. As that would have been a disgusting 1v2. I'll tell you what, though. The play call was perfect.
Play call was. Now, I will say this, okay? I am very critical when it comes to shooting bodies. Shooting bodies is one of my specialties. I love it. I'm a very toxic person when it comes to playing this game.
Does that happen that often to you?
Where I get my body shot, or I'm shooting bodies?
When you're shooting bodies? Because I don't think you
Well,
get that
I don't get many kills, but when I get the opportunity, I do. Now, what I was going to say, though, is the fact that you're shooting bodies after winning a 2v1 and almost losing the 1v1 after lining up, that's not a moment I'd be shooting bodies, but I like the confidence while still down 2 rounds to be able to do it. This is a very aggressive A-hit, though. He's already going to be on it here. Bomb should go down here with relative ease, and now it's going to be a 45-second restriction.
Yeah, that's that aggression we were talking about, right? For offensive teams, Inco going to be the one in control this time around. Fred's galore to kick things off. Set an A from Blur. We'll make a retake a little bit easier. And yet still, I don't think I've seen this weapon in competitive play in quite some time.
I thought it was a chainsaw at first.
Yeah, this reminds me of like that optic match from like Advanced Warfare where they pull out the LMGs. No idea what's going on here. Regardless though, 2v1. Lucas Shin. Oh no, almost makes it happen. The retake is good. I want to see more of this weapon.
I do too. Looks like a glorified version of a meat grinder. You know me, love a good old meat grinder myself. But as the chopper rules, he's got feet on it, dude, for free?
All right, we gotta stop you.
I mean, he's the one showing them for free, man. I don't gotta pay nothing for him this time.
All right.
Hear the noise that thing makes? That thing sounds sick.
It sounds good. It sounds good for sure. Will it work for a kill? That's the question for me. He's getting a lot of different hit markers at the moment. Not enough for a frag just yet. Elsewhere, Blur is actually going to open things up with the first kill. They've given up a lot of real estate over towards B. Cartels could well earn some of that back. At the very least, I think you're pretty happy with that trade if you're a Cartels because you've garnered information.
Got the sniper set up here. Dermot needs to be very careful about peeking that lane out. Nobody's going to challenge it out just yet. See, dude, he wall-banged everything 1,500 times. If he would have done it there, he probably would have walked away with a kill. Instead, they're going to be able to wrap their 3 selves back over towards the spawn side. It's a safe place right now. But Blur also has a sniper waiting inside of the U-Haul for a potential challenge to come through. They're going to think wiser of the challenge back to their spawn, say, all right, well, you know, we've already showed presence at B. Why not just hit it all the way through? There's 3 players here on the defense, though.
And there is only 2 at the moment, to be fair. The third will be a little bit late, so if they can deal with these 2 quickly, it would be nice. But that's a lot of ifs and buts for something that's not happened. King's already picking up the double. Now 1v2 for Dermot. 1v3, excuse me. Finds number 1 and gets sniped from afar. Blur finds the 6th round here for Team Mayhem, man. Oh, Inco just can't put anything together on this offense at the moment.
Yeah, they can't buy a round. Simply put. And here we go. Man with the opportunity to close things out, send us to a map 3. Dermot up the middle. He's just going to be running with those the fists out. He's got the Fennec to work with here. He knows Raph is weak around the corner. He's going to get the kill, walk away with his life. It's a 5v4, right now a 4 versus 4, I should say. The bomb should go down.
That's what the post plant looks like. Oh my god, that nade from Blur. That has to be pixel perfect. Now he's just firing shots through the wall, hoping to tag anybody. There's actually going to be nobody in there. At the very least, number 2, Dad, is a little bit far away. Lynn's now down for the count. Inco being bullied in towards the caravan. Hi, Dad. Bye, Dad. Look at that. Last couple of kills coming on through. Team Mayhem. Oh, boy. They did not look happy after that hardpoint, Alex. Now, I imagine we'll see at least a couple of smiles at the end of a search and destroy that is absolutely theirs.
Look at them kiss. They're feeling good. They got smiles. Oh, okay, well, maybe they're not kissing here, but they're kissing in game, and that's all that matters, right?
I mean, we could.
I wouldn't mind a cheeky peck.
I wouldn't care. Yeah, go for it. Go for it, guys.
I'd be okay with it.
Some love stories into our S&D. Some romance. Some like.
The spice of life.
And Ryan Reynolds. Kind of love, you know.
Some McCormill and Brody. Some Infinity and McCormill.
Dude, it's not even like late here. We're not getting delirious yet. We're not doing this just yet. Regardless. 1-1 in the series now, Alex, as we get serious here, mate. Team Mayhem, they're on the board in this best of 3. And that was necessary for them. Obviously, I think they were definitely up against it in that firing range search and destroy. We talked about it coming into it, the Inco Gaming. They are very strong in S&D, and things were looking not great for Mayhem, but they've got their way back in. They've handed Inco their first loss on firing range search and destroy since stage 4. Now we move into a control. And this is where I really don't know what's going to happen here. This really does feel like it's going to come down to what map we get, how the veto process is played out.
I'm trying to like peek through the screen right there to see if I can see like the map that's going to be coming up here for us.
I thought you were going to say if you could see like a peck on the cheek. Like,
well, you know, I would have been looking for that too. But right now, I don't think that's coming out from the side of Inco. If anything, we're probably going to get that out of Mayhem, if we're being completely honest. But
true.
I mean, I just want to know. It's a choice of 3. I'm not going to speculate or anything like that, but I will say this. This third map, only a few teams have gone the distance to a third map in a series early on in today's, I guess, Swiss play bracket. Both of these teams, though, have already played in their respective third maps against good teams. It was the first one for Mayhem where they were able to take down Loops, or excuse me, where they lost to Loops, excuse me, in that first best of 3 series.
Yeah.
It was a raid control that was so much fun to watch, let me tell you. But then Tribe on the opposite end, or excuse me, Inco on the opposite end, I believe they also played a third control in their first opening round as well. So these teams have kind of been through the ringer today. They have found themselves opportunities to either lose or win series, dependent on how far it goes. But obviously, since these teams are both 0-2, hasn't panned out well in either of those series. So if the streak breaks for one of these teams, it's a matter of who.
Yeah, all of this. Chance to stay alive in a $1 million Call of Duty Mobile tournament. All of your hopes and dreams rest on one game of Control to stay alive in this tournament. And you can see the desperation on their faces, right? You can see they're locked in. They are ready to go get some of the best Call of Duty Mobile players in the world. All comes down to one game of Control. And you know what? I don't know why specifically, Alex, but my mind keeps on flashing back to the very first raid control that we saw earlier today between Mayhem and Loops. I don't know if you remember it, right? How it kind of ended out, where we had like such a close... I kind of want raid just to see it kind of play out again, where we saw kind of like consistent efforts on the defense where, you know, the offense would grab the offensive side, grab one of the points within like 30 seconds of the round. We'd have like a whole 2 minutes of defensive play until like it broke in like the final second. For 4 rounds straight until round 5, a specialist split the difference and handed Mayhem their first loss. They wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that one specialist, that one specialist play from Bigadera. Imagine that, hey? Butterfly effect.
Look at Crossroads Strike instead. Unfortunately, no raid here, but just as fun. Lots of close range engagements. Doesn't take long after you spawn in to find your next gunfight. So, Trophy Systems placed over towards the front already. Sniper off the rip, though, there from Blur is going to be able to take down Leo. It's going to be an easy trade off the rip. So, with 1:23, the clock will stop. It's going to be the first stick of progress working up for Inco.
Already, it was starting to be made here, and this is actually pretty convincing from Inco right off the rip, right? You know, yes, you know, the life differential isn't too crazy at the moment, but the kills they do get offer them quite a lot of room to breathe over by A, and it's more in favor as Leozero picks up yet another frag. Oh my god, what is happening in the kill feed to start off this game? It already looks like this is a pretty convincing A push. You've got players in towards the garage if you're Inco 2. This is not good if you're Mayhem.
Well, you forced them into the back lot. You've already got a 6 life advantage as well, and that first stick of progress, rather the last one on A, should be completed, and it will be. So an extra minute added to the clock, tons of time to work with, and you're still just draining Mayhem off the board. You've got yourselves an 8 life advantage. Now it goes back, but back and forth trades we go. We over towards B. You might not even have to cap the point at this point. Set up a spawn trap and go GG next.
Well, I think the thing is, right, you do definitely want to try and capture the point if you can for the ticks for a potential round number 5, right? You don't want to get defense, or offense, excuse me, if you can afford it. But Inco, I mean, they've been so impressive this round. They've shut down some key players over on Team Mayhem. I mean, what, Cartel's on a breadstick, Raph so far on the donut. I mean, they could open up a bakery at this point. Team Mayhem, gotta find a way back in right now, but with 2 minutes, they have to survive an onslaught for a very, very long time. Has to be perfect, and that's a good start. Raph with a flank around to get off that donut for the first kill. Now looking for the second, and he chuckles it. Dad able to find the second. That was an opportunity to maybe close the lid on an offensive effort from Inco, but they're still hanging.
I mean, they only have one more push until the respawns are done. So realistically speaking, you'd see them playing all the way deep back in their spawn, and Inco is just going to try and challenge them out. I mean, for every 3 lives that they throw at them, even if they take 1 off the board right now, they still win this round. Now they're down to 4 lives in the back end. So Kings will try to force his way over towards the left. Defense able to hold on for at least a moment. 11 lives remaining, but it's now 3 as Jesus Saves is knocked off the board for round 1.
Look, I'll tell you one thing, mate. It would be phenomenal if they were able to do this. Cartel does find a double. Kings with another. And the initial wave is good. A 3-for-1 trade. Doesn't work out in your favor, though. There goes Cartels, and there goes Kings. And how about that to kick off our Crossroads Strike control? Inco Gaming, they come out swinging, and it's almost a knockout blow.
They almost got that third ticket progress on B, too.
Yeah.
I'm sure Inco probably would have liked that third ticket progress, but I mean, I can imagine many Crossroads Strike games go down to tick progression after an offensive round when that's impressive. So Inco on the defense, though, will be able to frag too. It's a double back from the opposite end, though, so we'll at least be even killing for now. A-Zone starting to have a bit of progress worked on it. First tick is going to be in. Kings is going to be able to drop down and find one with the DRH. Now as you have the Deagle to start working your way up the map, you've got a teammate already pushed up inside of the building in front of you as well. You can start forcing the spawn trap on the defensive end. Is exactly what they did to you.
Yeah, this needs to be the case here for Mayhem. You need to do exactly what Inco just did to you to ensure that you have an answer back for a protective round number 5. Kings starting aggressive here through the garage. He's doing a little bit of damage here. Finds yet another kill. It's 5 in a row for Kings. Now the Hunter Killer for Yata usage. Now looking for 6. Gonna find number 7 as well. Kings is just decimating the players inside the garage. Completely opens up the round for Mayhem. What is going on, Alex? The offense is winning out.
A complete different game than what we saw in that LG series earlier on. Now as we take a page out of the book, we start forcing our way around the map just a bit further. Annihilator going to be used. Beautiful snap back over towards left. Thought maybe for a second was going to be able to find Kings, but shut down is Luca now. So Specialist taken off the board. But if you are Mayhem, you still have 3 Specialists to work with here, and you're on the offensive end. You got a 4 life advantage. You have an extra 60 now added to the clock here if you can find this A zone, and you've already got 2 ticks of progress over at B. So a 1 life advantage here for the offensive team. Dermot, though, trying to change that and make it an even count of 10.
The life differential now not really the problem for Inco, it's the ticks. Mayhem, if they can put together a solid offensive effort on one of these points, it would be huge. Perhaps to use one of the specialists that they've got. They've quite a lot in the back pocket. One of them's going to be Purifier. Raf's already bringing that out. What can he do with it? There's the kill versus Linz. Trade is being made there by Dad. 6v4. Linz will have to wait for round number 3 before he gets back in the action now. And Mayhem, they're making the best of the situation. They've already captured A, looking to capture B as well. Lear Zero, though, comes through for the double. Surely not number 3. He does get traded up, but Dad will take the point for the moment. It's going to be 3v1, and Dad goes down. But very similarly to the last round, Alex, it is not a win by captures. And so these guys are even, again, when we talk about a potential round number 5.
Here's the thing. Kings, 2 streaks to work with, and Mayhem, while winning that round, we're also able to save all 3 of the specialists that they had. And here we go, off the rip. They're going to use a Sparrow. They're going to invest it over towards this right side. This A zone, exactly what they need. But you look back to the left-hand side, still the push aggressive from Team Mayhem. 3 lives now drained off the board from this offensive attempt, and all of a sudden, things change around just a touch. You have a few more players walking away with some kills. Blur also invests a specialist and also falls off the map. So this is where things get interesting. Now you have the R9 pushed up here. We saw the damage this thing caused up top here beforehand. He's able to get into the spawn side. A bit of an aggressive challenge there. Will back all the way off. Great movement to pair along with it. He gets back to his teammates in the safe.
Very interesting that you're utilizing the streak early on Mayhem to really put a stop to Inco before they can even get started. It's definitely a creative decision being made by Mayhem. Will it work out? That's the question. They've already gone into quite a lot of life advantage off the back of it. And they're still hanging about inside their defensive building. Cartel's now starting a piece up as well. That's 2 in a row for him up top with the Fennec. Need to remove him if you're Inco. Just waiting, chilling. Derbeck with a slide shout. Can't get it done. Someone please take down Cartels, because the longer he stays here, the more room he's given his teammates to breathe in and around this defensive building. And that is exactly what I mean. Now Jesus saves. Next one up to try and cause some carnage. And he's just going to chill around the smokes to play his life.
He lost it away. Dermek's going to be able to spot one, so the call-out and information should be there. However, he needs to back off, and while he's reloading, the challenge aggressive back on the opposite end is going to be able to find him and snuff him out. So no ticks of progress this round here from Inco. 6, now 7 lives the advantage here to Team Mayhem on the defensive end, and they are starting to swarm all around. The specialists proved to be the difference in the early portions of this 3rd round of control, and now with 12 seconds left, they got back on A. It'll be a very difficult round for Inco to win.
Yeah, you've got to capture this point, get the extra 60 seconds, so you have some kind of play. Linz decides this is the time for Equalizer to make sure that this point goes your way, and it doesn't do anything. Jesus saves, outguns him with the Fennec, and now that's a disastrous situation. They're probably going to get the extra 60 seconds here. I can't see Mayhem challenging this, but if you're Mayhem, you're okay with that. You're in a 10 versus 5 situation. Inco have to be perfect. You
have 4 bits of utility to use here, though. If you get this first pick and make it to where it's only a 4-life disadvantage, do you invest any of the 4 specialists that you have? That is the question that Inco are going to be asking themselves right now. Or do you invest all 4? I would say no. It's a very, very, very tough position to be in to even win a round when you're in a 5v10. Well, 45 seconds left. Time continuing to run out. They don't want to throw any lives away, but Luca's going to invest the Annihilator. He's able to find one, and the Claw's also invested on the opposite end. They found 2 kills and now can start pressing their way forward. A 3rd one knocks off the board.
That is a huge decision being made here. They're checking all the right corners, but not that one. Finally, Jesus saved. Going to catch one off guard. This is now 5 versus 3. There are still the 2 specialists on the board from Dad and Dermot. It is all balls to the wall here. If you're Inco, the 2v3 to try and salvage this round from Dad and Dermot. Dad's still got the Purifier. Best idea just to sit on the point. Raph decides now's the time to bring your Purifier out to respond to what Dad has. Purifier's gone. 9 seconds to try and draw these guys out. Jesus saves, has the heady in the situation. Dad just has to slide across the point. Try and bait these guys away. Here comes the challenge on the left side, and Blur will win out the 1v1. Before the end of that round, we saw, what, 4 specialist weapons on side in the back pocket for Inco. Only 1 remains now after that last effort.
And now Mayhem off the rip once again on their offensive attempt. They're going to have 2 to work with, and they know that they just shut down 3, so it's going to be a very easy call here for Mayhem to potentially pop him, and the Sparrow's going to be used, but immediately on the opposite end, it's going to be Dermot who responds with the double of his own. He took down 1, but now the Claw going to be invested. He's already found 1, and this cartel still operating in the middle map building.
Just chilling in the middle of the map. Cartels, as you said, mate, still running around with that Claw. 17 kills to his name in this game. He's had a phenomenal game so far. And yet still, now finally they're able to get themselves back towards the point. It's going to be number 4, Cartels, just sitting on it here for the moment. Doesn't have to back up just yet. Jesus said he's going to have to back away as he's already been made weak. As long as you can take these players out of the building, though, that's kind of the key thing. Don't get yourself oppressed inside your own spawn. That's what Jesus saves. He's just kind of sitting in his corner, you know, trying to bait these guys out towards that building. Does work out for the first kill, but no more than that. Minute now, more or less, has gone off the clock, and Team Mayhem haven't got a single tick of progression on either of these 2 points.
Player's going to look over towards the right, but Leo's going to be there. Not going to realize anything. He tried to use the gravity gun, but got shut down immediately. So now that's off the board. The specialist gone from Inco, and this is going to be the difference maker here. All of a sudden, things turn around. Dad's pressed up into the opposite end. He's got a 4-life advantage. Almost finds Jesus Saves, who's also weak. But now the double challenge comes through. Linz finds a double, and now it's a 4.
The life advantage just continues to grow here for Inco. Kira in this round. Cartels is going to find the double. That's something to be happy about at the very least. But just look how oppressive this spawn trap is. Mayhem cannot get out. And they don't really have much to talk about. Do you want to use any of that? You've got a couple of specialists, maybe. Do you want to save it for round number 5, though? That's the question for me at this point. A flank maybe coming through here with the last couple of lives. But you just don't have enough to play with. Inco have done such a stellar job at keeping Mayhem in their spawn. And now if you're a Mayhem in this last 2v9 situation, just don't give the last few lives away. You run out of time. We're going to round number 5 here. And I don't know who ended up with the defense. It's going to be Inco. That's interesting because we just saw what they just did on that defense, and it was so good of a spawn trap.
And that first round is going to be the difference maker here. Being able to get all 5 of those ticks, they're able to progress it a bit further, trying to get aggressive there with the fists out, swaps to the Fennec, but isn't able to find anything, rather any use out of any of the utility that he has with him. A-zone being progressed right now. Jesus going to top one over the top. Smoke grenade going to be there, and a frag going to be tossed at the same time. They've got 3 players stacking this point. Exponential progress going to be used, but now it's only left to 2. Luca on the right-hand side has the equalizers out. Needs to be careful, but going to be able to find one. Annihilator also used at the same stretch, but Kings is able to pop back with a double. Luca's still there with a specialist in hand, and Limbs now has the Purifier to work with too.
And that Sparrow is going to come straight out here. For number 4, only going to get one. Actually, only gets a little bit of damage. I think it's a single kill with it. So that's some positivity for Mayhem here on this round 5 offense. King's just chilling on the point at the moment. Doesn't hit enough shots towards Lukashin to actually pick up that kill. Dermak over by A will also find another one. Dermak's actually going to double up here. And that clears a lot of the pressure on A, but not on B. Mayhem still have a completely clear path to make some progress on that B point. They're feeling pretty confident about it. Raph not being challenged. Cartels with the coverage up top as well. Cartels will find one across the walkway, looking for number 2 against Linz. Has to be cautious though, because a couple of players do die over by A. Now for Inco, this is a chance for them to come on the flank.
but the teammate that was up top, he allows and trusts his teammate over on B to be able to find that kill, and now he can pop the Annihilator. He goes for 2, tries to swap back over towards the right, another challenge up, there's number 3. Can he continue this for number 4? Yes, he can! Swaps back to the Deagle, now has the DARH in hand. He goes for the Hunter Killer Drone, kill and finds it as well. King's on a tear, might have just helped his team to secure themselves a 2-1 advantage.
Yeah, Kings, that might well be the play that ends this game. Double life advantage now from Mayhem. Cartels are going to put the hurt home with the claw inside Garage. Now back towards regular weapon for a 1v2. Going to lose that one. And actually now, very quickly, this becomes a 4v5 for Inco. A much more manageable situation. Trying to play this conservatively. Dad goes down. Now down to Lukashin and Dermak. Now just down to Dermak. A 1v4. He can't get it done. And Mayhem send Inco home. Mayhem, stay alive.
Oh, I love Control. Dude, oh, man. 5 straight rounds of pure action and chaos on Crossroads Strikes. And buddy, what a game. What a way to end things off there for Mayhem. From start to finish, there were so many opportunities you had. And, man, you can see the hurt on Inco's face right now. And this is just such a hard thing to watch, too. They played their hearts off. They played their asses off all season long. And for the moment you get here at Worlds to just have things slip through your fingers, so many opportunities you can go back and you can just look at it and be like, hey, what if I would have won that one gunfight? What could have been different? What if we would have hit this team out different? What if we wouldn't have used those specialists there? How would have that changed the entire outcome of the game? And then those what ifs, those question marks, it's just, it hurts so much. And you can see the disappointment on their faces as well. Oh, man.
Dude,
you feel for him.
Yeah, you do, right? And it's got to be said as well, it's not an upset because these are the 2 best teams from, I guess, a seeding standpoint in the world. I mean, Team Mayhem, again,
yeah,
they got to finals. Inco Gaming, you know, we know that this is one of the best teams in LATAM. And yet still, it's crazy to think that Inco, the team that, yes, it's a little bit of a different roster, but got 3rd at last year's World Championships, is now out in the Swiss stage, is incredible. Team Mayhem, though, they go marching on. They keep themselves alive. But one more round of play for them. Oh, boy. Who is it going to be for Team Mayhem next up to decide their fate once again? They survived their brush with death for the moment, but it's not over yet. We've got a couple more rounds of action here to come as we get into the final round of Swiss play. Don't go far, folks. Go on the other side of the break. We've got a couple of teams that are 1 and 2 still fighting for their tournament lives.